Hello diplomats, welcome to EdviPlav IAS video discussion. This video deals about GST Council. The context for discussing about GST Council is, it is there in today's newspaper. In Hindu, Economic Times, Mint all covered about GST Council. Yesterday GST Council meeting was held and there were some issues to be discussed by both union and state government. So 1 week ago there was another issue regarding GST. It's saying that GST compensation cess was used elsewhere and violated law. It is the CAG findings. GST compensation cess was created to compensate for state governments if there is any shortfall in the GST revenues, and this compensation cess will be used to compensate the state governments. So there was some issue regarding this division of GST compensation fund cess between union and state governments. So it was the news 1 week ago. So combinedly it has assumed significance. In this context, we will discuss about what are various dimensions involved in GST Council. What are its constitutional provisions, composition, functions and voting mechanism, and the purpose of GST Council. These are the constitutional provisions of GST Council. It was a constitutional body. It was created in 2016 under Article 279A. Prelims question may come like GST Council is 1 statutory body, 2 constitutional body. So statutory body is not correct and constitutional body is the right option. It was brought when GST came into being. GST was implemented since 2016, since the law came into being. There was a mechanism for its smooth rolling out. When such a huge reformation is taking place in the country, and that too in a vast country like India, a mechanism, a governing body has to be there, like the GST Council. So that's the same purpose why GST Council came into being. It should be represented by both union government and state governments. So in that principle, these members, the representation in the council included both from union government and state government. So both finance minister and union state minister of revenue represent union government. Minister in charge of finance from all the states are represented state governments. It is created on the principle of cooperative federalism. Any suggestion or any decision to be taken by a governing body should represent from all the spectrum of the country. All the state governments should be represented in such a body. In that principle, GST Council included both union and state government ministers. Let's come to the main GST Council functions. Of course, obviously, the first and foremost is to administer and govern GST. This is the overarching function of GST Council. So in this, these are various tasks, detailed tasks that are to be taken care by GST Council are there. What kind of taxes, surcharges to be subsumed in GST, and what kind of goods and services to be included in GST, what kind of rate, like some have 5% rate, some have 18% rate, etc. So different goods have different GST rate structure according to the needs of the economy. That is also decided by GST Council. Some exemption of tax filing deadlines are decided by GST Council. The main issue which is currently going on, the special needs during disasters. Yesterday GST Council meeting was held and a major contentious issue was to borrow funds to manage disaster, COVID-19 disaster. State governments are saying union government should borrow and give the funds to state governments, whereas union government is saying please go ahead. State government themselves can go ahead, can borrow the funds to handle COVID-19 pandemic situation. So there was a disagreement yesterday between some states and union government. So this is the main reason why GST Council is in news and why we are discussing. It also has some special functions like special provisions for states, special states like northeastern and hilly states like Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh also taken care of. If there is any dispute between state government or dispute between center and state governments, GST Council will have a mechanism to adjudicate those issues as well. So these are the GST Council functions. Any decision to be finalized by GST Council has to be given voting, and in that voting, majority not less than 3/4 of the weightage of total votes members present and voting should say, then only the final decisions will be taken. In that, center government will have 1/3 of the total weightage, all state government will have 2/3 of the total weightage. Each state government is represented with one vote, and all state governments combinedly have 2/3 and center government, so that center government cannot veto or only certain state governments cannot veto. So combinedly 3/4 majority has to come to make a decision finally. So this is the voting pattern. And finally, let's come to the GST Council purpose. The purpose of GST Council overall, of course, one is GST to manage, administer, and other issues involved here are fiscal federalism, cooperative federalism, one nation, one market. GST was introduced for smooth functioning of the economy. Earlier, many state governments have many state laws regarding the trade. If goods are moving from one state 1 to state 2, it requires to pay taxes of other state, and moving to third one requires another set of tax laws. So this was hindering trade among the states. In order to promote trade and for national growth and to improve employment and GDP, we required a national law like GST. While implementing this GST, many issues will come. So in the last 3 years, so many issues have come in case of GST filing, GST deadlines, and GST rate system. So Constitution of India was amended to create a mechanism, GST Council, to ensure smooth riding of GST. So this GST Council will take care of this smooth riding of GST mechanism. So all these issues are involved in fiscal federalism, cooperative federalism, and one nation, one market. So these are the issues involved in GST Council. Thank you, and please subscribe to our channel EdviPlav IAS. We will meet in the next video. Thank you.